Hello again, and welcome to another episode of The Mother You Know, The Woman You Don't, a podcast about mothers and daughters. Thanks so much for tuning in again. This is Lydia. I'm here with my sister Dorcas and my mom Sylvia for our episode this week. I'm going to kind of go a little bit, not really off topic, but kind of off topic this week, and we're going to talk about just another story. And tonight we're going to talk about mom's stroke. Mom had a stroke, and we're going to talk about that because I think that was one of probably the most significant medical issues that we've had in our family in the last couple years. When your mother has a health scare like that, it's very stressful and scary, and you have to rely on a lot of faith and whatnot. So we're going to kind of talk about when that happened and how it happened. And so that happened. It was December of 2020, a couple of years ago in the middle of the pandemic. And Mom had a stroke. So let's talk about that, Mom.
Well, it wasn't a stroke of luck, okay? That's for sure. Or maybe it was.
It was. So we'll kind of go through in each one of us and kind of talk about our perceptions of that day and kind of how that affected all of us or whatever. But I know that it was like a week before Christmas, I think. Maybe
it was sometime in December. I guess I don't. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's right before, like maybe a week and a half before Christmas or right after the thing. So
Christmas.
Yeah,
for everybody.
Christmas. Yeah,
except for us.
So that was a very eventful couple of days here in the Saranel family. Mom, listen. We'll talk about kind of our side of it, whatever. But let's talk a little bit about that day for you and just kind of walk us through what happened that day. And we will try not to make fun of things. We can laugh about things now.
Okay.
We'll take it serious because it's very serious. Yes.
Yes,
well, we may. But
it turned out to be yes, but then it turned out to be okay, not so serious. But no,
serious
it was just it was, I was feeling bad. I remember I was just feeling really bad. Now, let me just proceed that with, I live in Hemp Hill. If you don't know where that's at, it's in Deep East, Texas.
Don't give your address to a bunch of strangers, Mom, but yes,
I'm not giving
live
no
in
address.
East Texas.
I'm just saying East Texas, between Lufkin, Nacogdoches, Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, and that
You're in the Piney Woods.
We're in the Piney Woods,
from
yes.
civilization.
Yes. And a small one blinking light town. Okay. And so I'm feeling bad. And I'm just, I don't know, Danny was at the computer doing something. And what started out being like a little tingling in my lip. And I thought, that's weird. And my lip started getting numb. I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. And so I could tell I wasn't feeling good. And I thought, that just feels strange. And then my hand started feeling funny, and I just was feeling bad, and it just got worse and worse. And I didn't have a headache, I don't think, but I've never had high blood pressure that I knew about. Okay, Dorcas.
I will elaborate on my face in a minute. I'll let you get through the story, but that sentence just irks me. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I never knew I had high blood pressure, okay?
Because I would never acknowledge.
There was such... Well, anytime I'd been to the doctor, my blood pressure was usually just kind of normal. But it'd been a long, long time since I've been to the doctor, okay? And so, anyway, so I just got to feeling weird, and my hand wasn't working. And so I'm telling Daniel, and I'm feeling bad if I tell him, baby, I think I need to go to the emergency room. So he got up, and, with his neuropathy and with my gimpy right side now, because I'm just walking weird, and we're trying to get each other to the car.
Are you just walking in a circle?
We were saying, we are. Yes. And it got comical because we were trying to help each other, and I was stumbling and bumping into the house, and I couldn't get a hold of something, and so finally we did get into the truck, and so Danny's going to drive me to the emergency room in Jasper.
Wasn't it raining?
That's the closest one. It was pouring down cats and dogs, and so we start out, and then he pulls into the fire department, the volunteer fire department, which we're a part of. If you live up here, then you're part of the fire department. You get a church, you get the fire department, So he pulls
So
over,
Dad's
and
also the chaplain at the fire
yeah,
department,
Dad's
right?
also the
Yeah,
chaplain.
yeah.
So we pulled into the at the fire department, which is just a few blocks up the road. And he calls 911, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? And so he said, no, I think we're going to have to get an ambulance. And at that time, because he put out a 911, all the firemen, the volunteer firemen, started showing up at the fire department. And so it's just sheets of water. It's just pouring down rain. You couldn't even see where you were driving. And Ray got there, and he opened up the bay doors and pulled out one of the fire trucks out. And about that time, the fire chief and his wife, who were our first responders, and I don't know who all showed up. So we pulled the truck in and out of the rain, and they're just swarming all over me. And
Mama got the princess treatment.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And Lonnie, he's there with the blood pressure thing, and he goes, "My God, your blood pressure is 200 over 100 and something." And I'm thinking, my blood pressure is never high. I don't have blood pressure. I don't have high blood pressure. My blood pressure is always perfect. He goes, "Your blood pressure is way too high." And so anyway, they do get the ambulance there, and they do get the paramedics and put me in an ambulance, and we take off to Nacogdoches. They decide we're going to go to, not Nacogdoches, Lufkin.
Lufkin.
That I'm going to Woodland Heights Hospital, which is one of the larger hospitals in Lufkin. And so it was a horrible ride. If you've ever ridden the back of the ambulance, then they are not comfortable. And so
it's what, almost an hour from Hemphill to Lufkin, right?
Yeah, it's about an hour from Hemphill, about an hour and 15 minutes, and it's pouring down rain. And so I didn't know at what point Daddy called y'all. I knew he was very, very upset. He was very scared. So he was following in the truck, and I'm in the ambulance. And they were asking me all kind of questions, and I was going, well, my hand, it feels funny. My face feels funny. And so it was, to me, that was the worst part of how I was feeling. And so I knew something was not right. So when we got there, well, they took me in there, and they were great. I thought, these people are on top of it, because they were doing an EKG, they were doing a CT scan, they were doing all kind of things. And so by the time they got to the point where they thought I might have had a stroke, and the doctor said, well, normally we give this shot, which is the stroke shot or whatever it's called, to stop a stroke. He said, well, it's past the time. Do you want me to give it to you? It's not going to do any good for you now. I said, no, I don't even want it. And so anyway, we did end up doing this CT scan, and the one with contrast and one without it. And before too long, they put me in an MRI, which, let me just say, that's my nightmare. That is literally my nightmare.
Yeah.
It was my head in there. And so that was beyond torture to me. But the lady said, well, this will help. So she threw a cloth over my face, and I'm thinking, that don't help, so cover my eyes.
Waterboarded.
Yes.
Absolutely. That just makes my eyes wet, and now I'm stressed and have wet eyes.
Yes. So anyway, it was not pleasant. And I was scared, and I was feeling bad, but I was feeling better. Okay, about that time, I was starting to get the feeling back in my hand. And so within a couple of hours, I felt like, well, that's better. That's better. But it didn't show stroke. It didn't show any bleeding. It didn't show seizures or anything like that, which it turned out. It turned out okay by the grace of God. And I feel like the prayer request went out really fast. And so I do give that to the Lord, that it wasn't something that was debilitating, or as some people have gone through stroke. So to to set the record straight, it was a little TIA. Is that what it's called? A little baby stroke?
I think it's a
It's just a
TI
baby
is what
stroke.
it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did go through that. The sad thing was it was COVID and nobody could come in the hospital or come in the room with me. And so I'm in that hospital getting these tests, getting pushed around, getting delivered to a room where nobody knew I was and all that. So I remember it was a young kid, and he was just not friendly, not
your doctor,
communicative. No, it wasn't the doctor. It was just the little kid that was pushing, delivering people to their rooms, I guess.
Oh, like an orderly.
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe an orderly and all that. So it was, I did get in the room, but I'm thinking nobody even knows where I'm at, So at that point, I'm sure Dad already knew, but I spent the night by myself. There wasn't nobody there with me. And so, and a lot of people went through that kind of experience with COVID and all that. So, but it did get comical later, but at this point it was not, and all. So, but that's the, that's kind of the experience that I had up to that time.
Like one of the funniest things, like when you were telling us the story later, like you kind of breezed over it, but you and Daddy trying to get in the car, like you said, Daddy has myopathy or whatever it's called in his leg.
Neuropathy.
No, not myopathy. He can barely
walk.
He's
he's on
a cane, and
he can barely hold himself up.
Trying to get your shoes on. I remember you telling us, like trying to help you get your shoes on, and he could barely stand, and then like you said, you're trying to get to the car, and there's like the what do they say, like the metal pillars on the wraparound porch or the things, and you're trying to swing your arm around to like brace yourself, and he's trying to swing his arm around to brace yourself, and you're just like you're like Lucy and Ethel of the freaking stroke world.
When I look back at that, I thought, how in the world
did y'all do that while staying upright?
Yeah, I don't even know how we didn't end up on the ground together.
Just laying there, that's it. Just take me, Lord. This is it.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Mama.
I know. I know.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that worries me is that y'all are up there like that,
alone,
and then you're alone, so that's huge.
If y'all both roll down the hill, y'all both just going to be there.
Yeah, they're just going to find both of you together, little bodies.
Yeah,
at the bottom of the hill.
Look, all my little neighbors have just gone downhill too.
Y'all are the youngest in the block, so that's the sad part.
The sad part is we're not the youngest. Some of my other neighbors who are look. So yeah, my little neighbor over here, her husband died from a aneurysm or something, and he had to have been in his 40s. Yeah, and then my neighbor across the street's in his 60s, and he's had cancer and heart, stuff like that, and it's a little scary because people come up here to retire, which means they come up here to die.
Well,
some of them,
I was thinking that. I wasn't going to say it, but I was thinking it.
That's right. So y'all have my permission to sell this place, split the money, and not come up here. Okay, I don't know.
Dibs on the book pieces.
Yeah,
in the books. Yeah, don't sell my McCoys for 50 cents a piece, please.
No, I will be in charge of that because Dorcas will. Dorcas will like fill a box for $1. Just get it out of the house.
I'm not the one that breaks up China patterns. Don't start with me.
It was a choice for the wedding.
So, Mom, what kind of were the, because you were there for how many days? 2 days? 2 days?
Yeah, I think just a couple of days. Yeah, I think I did.
2 nights in the hospital.
No, I think it was 2 days.
First night?
Yes.
And then
another
Well, maybe it was just
2 or 3 days because we were there for a couple of nights in the hotel.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe 2 nights in the hotel. Maybe we spent 2 nights. I'm thinking I remember 1, but 2 is probably right. So I guess for us, the dad called and he was already behind the ambulance. So y'all were already
we were already on
en route to the hospital.
Because that happened pretty quick. The fact that he stopped at that. He stopped at the fire department, which is at the top of the hill up here, and within minutes, the volunteer firemen all had their radios and was there, at the fire department pretty quick. And
Yeah.
so they got me in the ambulance and took off. But it
Well,
was an
it's-
hour, 15 minutes drive there. So he
Y'all are
was,
blessed to have so many people who want, well, they do it for anybody, but they do love you guys and care about you guys. And when
yeah.
Pastor Danny calls
Yeah,
with an
we did
emergency,
get,
they're gonna
yeah,
get that good treatment. But
yeah.
I don't remember where we were. Me and Dorcas were somewhere together because I was living at the
From my
house.
house.
Yeah, we were
We're just
living there,
here.
but we had come home from something. Like I don't remember where we were. We were out for the day, I feel like, and we had come home, and I had a missed call from Daddy, and like I called him back because Daddy never calls me. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird. Dad never calls. So I called him back, and like there was something about the way that he said my name. Like he called me Lolly. And there was something about the way he said it. And I kind of remember, like, it's very theatrical in my head, whether or not it was like this. But what I remember is kind of turning around and making eye contact with Dorcas because I knew there was something in his voice.
Yeah.
And I knew immediately he was crying.
Yeah.
And everything just kind of stops and drops. And I kind of make eye contact with Dorcas. And he says, he either said, I think mom had a stroke or mom had a stroke, something like that. He goes, we're on the way to the hospital. I said, and he's crying. And he's driving.
Yeah.
And I think I said it out loud to Dorcas. I was like, or I asked him a question or so, I don't know, but I was just like, mom had a stroke. And I'm looking at Dorcas, and she and I both immediately go into this. And Dorcas, well, you may remember it differently, but I remember us going into this like automatic, like go, 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 go thing. Like we kind of just started, I don't know. I remember kind of walking around and subconsciously like, okay, we have to go, we have to go. And I'm asking Daddy, I'm like, okay, where are you at? What are you doing? He's like, I'm following the ambulance. And I immediately go to this place of trying to make sure Daddy's okay. Because I'm like, Daddy has heart
Yes.
issues. Daddy has health problems. Is he going to freak out? Can he drive? And all this. And he just kept assuring me. I kept telling him I don't know if I kept telling him to pull over and get somebody to drive him, or somebody who could drive him. But he was, ambulance chasing. We were in the car and out the door within 10 minutes of that conversation. And I managed to get my toothbrush. That was the only thing I grabbed. I remember grabbing my toothbrush, nothing else. And that's just for whatever reason, I grabbed my toothbrush and threw it in my purse. And then we were in the car within just a couple of minutes, and we were flying to Lufkin, which is about, God, what it's like 2 hours from where we
It
live,
should be
maybe
2 hours from Mumble.
Yeah, I think it was
Jessica
we
said
were
it should
no,
be.
Kennebec, but no, I think it was 3 hours from here,
from
but we
Kent
did
in about
it
an hour and a half.
yeah, it was less than 2 hours.
We're hauling it down this road. And what's funny is like we weren't saying much. Like Dorcas was driving her car. We were not saying much. We were just going and going, going. And it was by the grace of God, we never hit one red light in any of those small towns. We were probably going faster than Jesus would like. However, let's say we never got stopped by the cops. We never saw a cop. We were going to talk about this earlier. There was at least 2 times where we essentially had a spiritual pace car that
Well,
would
it
get
came
in
in,
front.
it slowed us down because the weather, it was raining, it was pouring.
Yeah, the weather
And
was
then at
bad.
some point we got behind an 18-wheeler, and I got like physically angry because I could not, it was like either a 2-lane road or something, and I got physically just
Mad.
pissed that it was in my way. And at some point we noticed on the truck, it was either a cross or it was like Jesus on the cross or something, but it was on the back of this truck, and it just said, "Follow me." And at some point I thought, oh, okay, I'll slow down. Fine. I won't be pissed. But there was 2 instances. There was another car that the same type of thing, we just got behind it. It was physically slowing me down, and so I didn't want to be slowed down. I got angry.
Yeah, we got to
Very
Lufkin in
angry
like
at it.
90 minutes. We
Yeah.
got there so fast
Yeah.
to Lufkin. And I think, like I said, we weren't saying much. We were just kind of in the car, and I was like doing a lot of praying. And because I think this was one of those times, Mom, where for me at least, it was this realization that Mom is not immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of thing that, because unfortunately, said my experience, when you hear of somebody having a stroke, well, grandma had your mother had a stroke.
Yes,
And
she had.
that was the thing that took her from being spry. Because before she had her stroke, she was Annie, and she was very different after her stroke. So I remember kind of playing that over and over in my head, and like what that means and what is this going to mean for you, and all that stuff. And just like I said, it was a very quiet car ride, just a lot of praying. We were not saying much, but I think at one point we both just had to pee really, really bad. And so we like pulled over on 59 at that one little, and what's funny is that every time I pass that, like if we're going up 59, that's what I think about every time I pass this one particular gas station. I'm like, oh, that's where we stopped to pee when mom had her stroke. Like, and that's just kind of that. I don't remember, like I can see it in my head, and every time we pass it, I know. But it was one of those days that was, like I said, it was one of those, you just don't know what's going to happen, and you get very scared, and you kind of, like I said, you start questioning, immortality and all these things, and you start questioning God, like why is this happening? Like, well, what does this mean? You just get there, and then and again, this is Dorcas, and again, we talk about our perceptions of things are very, very different. And I remember getting to the hospital, and because it was COVID, there's like literally no cars there because you can't go in.
Yeah,
well,
can't even go in.
You can go. We went in. Like I went in, and I remember getting pissed just walking up there. And for whatever reason, I feel like I was ahead of Dorcas a little bit, and we're going in, and I'm already getting pissed that they're going to make me put a mask on because it's hot. I mean, it's not hot, it's December. You go in, and I'm trying to talk. Like I remember asking, like, I think our mother was here, our mom's here. Like, where's our mom, or where's our mom? And they were very kind. Like, for whatever reason, I felt like I was, because COVID was such a crazy thing, and it's just so polarizing, and people just get pissed. And I was already pissed because I didn't want to, selfishly, I didn't want to go in there and wear a mask, and they were going to fight. There's going to be a thing. But the people were so kind, and they were like, oh, your mom just came in on the thing, and they let us stay in there. You're not supposed to stay in the hospital, but they let us stay in the lobby for a few minutes and wait for Daddy. And Daddy came out, and I remember, like, I kind of gravitated towards Daddy to make sure he was doing okay, and then Dorcas kind of gravitated to the nurses and going and talking to them. We just, it was just very, I said, it felt so isolating, and it felt so crazy for it to be so empty as it was. And then you're there, and we can't go back, and you're kind of just praying that they'll just let's go back and see. Yeah. And Daddy was back there, but they went and got Daddy and brought him out. But
he was never with me, though. I don't think. Was he?
I don't know. He was behind. I think I
think when you were in the emergency room, you were in the ER part. Maybe not when you went up to the room, but I think when you were in the ER part, he was there with you.
Yeah. Dorcas, what do you remember about whenever the phone call came in from Daddy and kind of that journey to the?
Well, I remember talking to Dad too, and I think it was probably just to get clarity of what he was saying as opposed to hearing it from you to me. At some point, I called him back before we left because I remember standing at the bar telling him to tell me what happened. And the same thing, I could hear the worry in his voice. I could hear, what he was saying, because I think for me, I go into facts. Like I need to know the facts. I need to know what do I need to know? How do I need to drive 60? Do I need to drive 90? Do I need to, get my kids together? Do I need to call Dwayne? Like, because Dwayne and Cody were at the ranch, and that's a whole different.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that's
a whole different story because.
Tell that story. Yeah.
I don't know if I can. I keep getting choked up because I've thought about it already, and I'm already tearing up because it's probably one of the harder parts of it. So I don't know. We'll see if I can pull it together.
Well, what's choking me up is hearing how bad it scared y'all. And I never want to do that to my children.
Well, I know.
By the way, did
don't have strokes, Mama.
Take your blood pressure medicine.
God.
Just a little bitty white pill. My question is, did anybody call James?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we did. And once we got in the car, I had called Dwayne before we left. And then when we got in the car, I called the girls, and I think Lydia called James.
Yeah, I called James. Yeah.
And then I think we did call some of your sisters or whatever.
Yeah, but that's what I worry about is causing my children.
Yeah.
The pain and the sadness, and and that will happen. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But it's part of life.
Yeah.
And it's part of
life.
Part of y'all growing up and all. And God's good. God is so good. And even with my own mother, I always thought I can never live on this planet without my mother in existence.
Yeah. Well, that's
even when she was 80. Yeah. Even when she was 80.
For me,
but it
that's
was
what the
only
realization was, is that whole saying of, you've
yeah,
lived on this planet without me. You've
yes, yeah,
existed here without me. I've never existed without you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
or walked this planet, without you. So that was a hard realization. And I think because Dad's been so sick and had so many health issues, that the focus has always been there, you know.
yeah,
And like I said, in my mind, and not anything, I'm not saying anything bad about Dad or anything of preferred order. I don't have a preferred order of who dies, but I'm just saying, in my brain, it's always been, okay, Dad's older,
sure,
natural progression. He's the dude and he's had all these health problems. He's going to be the one to go first. So you need to be prepared for that, because we've dealt with him having a heart
yes,
attack, or
heart
we know
attack
that he has
and
heart
surgeries
issues.
and all
We
that.
know that it's,
Yeah,
in your brain. And since my brain processes things logically, like black and white, he's going to be the shock of the first death is going to be Dad, so that
yeah,
in that
yeah,
moment, that was the first instance of, oh wait, she's
Yeah.
not immortal. She
yeah.
very well could kick it at any time, or this could be a thing, because it never
Because I've never
phased
had
us as a
much.
thing. No.
Yeah, I've never had much health problems at all. A little diverticulitis, yeah, that
Yeah.
you know. But people say, "What's your health? What's your medical history?" I said, 3 babies
Yeah.
and a hysterectomy. That's yeah, that
Yeah.
was my medical history.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So yeah, the same thing is, I remember talking to Dad, getting the details, and getting in the car, and then just going into, apparently, turning into Dale Earnhardt Jr. and just booking. And then the same thing, getting there. Lydia's right. I think she probably did. We talked to Dad for a second, but then I think my priority became getting the facts about you. And then my other part of my brain shifted to, Dad's a diabetic, Dad has heart problems, Dad has this. And I remember telling the receptionist lady, I need you to get me a nurse out here. Like, I need somebody on staff to come out here and talk to me, not about Mom, but y'all need to know about Dad. You need to know, if he falls out, he's a diabetic, he needs this, he needs, it went into both things, because you're usually the person telling the nursing staff what's,
What's to do?
because they don't have his medical history either. If he falls out from not eating, or not, taking his medicine, or, whatever. That's, I think that I remember doing that. And then just not having the information about you I didn't like that at all.
yeah,
Not being able to go back, and not
right.
even being, we had to sit in the waiting room for a little bit, but
Yeah.
not very long at all. Maybe not even think 30 minutes or so.
No.
And we had to sit in the car.
We essentially had a non-party tailgate.
Yeah, we just had to go sit in the car because we weren't
Yeah.
leaving.
No,
And
it's only us. There's nobody else in this parking lot of this hospital but our car. And then when Dwayne and Cody got there in record time too, we were just sitting
Yeah.
there holding
Yeah.
a vigil out in the parking lot.
So, like I
and
said,
so
Dwayne
I
and
guess
Cody,
Daddy was with y'all then. Out in
he
the parking lot,
eventually,
right?
eventually
Yeah.
he came out. He stayed in there for a good while,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
went
we
and
just
found a
hung out.
hotel. We got a hotel, and then
Yes.
or got a couple hotel rooms, and
Yeah.
decided to stay the night. No clothes, no
We had to go to
medicine, no
Walmart the next
Yeah, we
day.
go to Walmart and
Yeah.
buy
So it's
like
like I was right over
underwear.
there by Walmart.
Yeah, we did.
And I remember when we checked into the hotel, we had 3 rooms. I had a room, Daddy had a room, and the guy at the front desk so what are y'all in town for? I was like, well, Mom had a stroke. So
Yeah.
we're in town. He's like, okay, all right, well, let's get you checked in. I was like, yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I get a late wake up call in the morning? Yeah, poor thing.
So I think for
Poor
me,
guy.
Can I get my Marriott points for these couple of nights? That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Glad I could assist.
Yeah. Well, and I remember the next day, whenever like I said, we didn't have anything. We literally had nothing that night. But I did go, I think Dorcas, I told to distract Daddy, me and Daddy and Cody went to Walmart the next day. And I'm like, Dorcas, I'm going to grab us shorts, shirts, toiletries, and all this stuff. And I went in and I didn't get a basket for whatever reason in my head. I could just carry it all, everything we needed. And then I remember just having a handful of stuff standing there because my brain wasn't working right. It just wasn't logical. And
yeah, mine wasn't either.
And
Go
so
ahead.
I'm standing there and I'm holding all this stuff and I need a cart, but the carts are outside. And I'm just standing here contemplating, how do I get a cart without getting busted for shoplifting? Because if I just go walking out the door, thank God, there was a manager standing there. And I was like, listen, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought I could carry all this. I literally had clothes and toothbrushes and toothpaste and shampoo and deodorant and all these things that we need because we didn't know how long we're going to be there. And this poor guy was just like, you know what? I like it when people shop. So I'm going to go get you a cart. And he came back and I put it all in there and stuff. And then took them back. But it was just one that, again, we just never, I guess, it's a, looking back on it, you know, like smarts would tell you, you're probably not going to be home tomorrow. So why don't you grab some stuff? We just didn't do that. We just got in the car and were like, we'll just wear the same chones every night. It's fine. Oh, I had to buy chones too. I had to buy us chonies. I had to buy everything. It was ridiculous.
It runs that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. So when y'all took off, you called Dwayne.
Yeah, before we left, I think I called Dwayne. Well, I tried to call him and couldn't get a hold of him, and I ended up calling Kayla because he was with Blake and Kayla, or I think they were hunting, but then they were staying at Blake and Kayla's house
They
or
were at the
something.
rodeo or something, aren't they? Where there's like
Oh
some
yeah,
kind of
maybe
event.
they're in Glen Rose. Maybe had gone over to Glen Rose, but they were, because at the time they were hunting in Glen Rose, yeah, I think. But anyway, I ended up calling Kayla, and Kayla I had to tell her, I need you to go grab Dwayne because he needs to call me. Mom, had a stroke, or we think mom had a stroke. So he called me back, told him, and that it's all in that 5-minute span. I think they immediately left and went from West Texas to East Texas, drove west to east. I don't know, it was 6 or 7 hours, and they probably did it in 5. They were there that night. But
Wow.
yeah, Dwayne
Yeah.
said that is the absolute scaredest he's ever seen Cody.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
he said it was like, he's never seen, because Cody don't move that fast. My man goes at his own pace. And Dwayne said it was absolutely the fastest he's ever moved, and was immediately like, I think it scared him, probably the scariest he's ever been. And
Yeah.
it moved him.
And see, that's what that makes me feel bad.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
makes me feel bad
I
too.
hate that.
I
That
hate
y'all
that
are,
too.
So
Yeah,
I'll do
I hate
better.
it too. But
I'll
the
do
thing
better
is
with
that
my blood pressure medicine now.
yeah.
But what's the
But
alternative?
it's
I'm gonna
part of
start my
growing up,
yoga. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. It's part of growing up, and it is part of whatever. And it just happened to be at a time where everybody was spread out, which was, really
Yes.
hard because the girls were here, but they weren't at home. They were somewhere. They were having a Christmas party. Like Mariah had people coming to her house or something like that. Not her house, but they were having a Christmas party, and they had
Yeah.
friends there and all that. And it was like,
See, I never knew that. I
yeah.
didn't know
So
where they
because they
were
didn't
at the
come,
time.
it was like, I think they just had a house full of people, and it was like, well, I'll just call you when we get there and let you know,
Yeah.
what happened. And then luckily by the time that night you were already better and all
Stable
that.
and
But
Yeah. I mean, it was just a
stable
matter
and
of hours
yeah,
when I was feeling better.
Yeah.
But it was certainly a big benefit to go ahead and get all the tests run for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
So
upside.
this,
So
yeah.
and to find out that you did in fact have high blood pressure, and
clearly,
that
evidently.
and
Okay.
what gets me about your little statey statement is the fact that you never had high blood pressure is because you had not been to the doctor in 10 years.
That's true.
So
That's true.
that statement just irks me every time you say it. So yeah, you did have high blood pressure.
Well, I
You just
did, but I didn't know I
know.
did. Yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know that's why I was feeling bad.
So yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are red flags. So
Yeah.
get your blood pressure meter and keep an eye on it. So
Yeah. So I think for us it was, like I said, I think we realized pretty quickly once we got there that it was trending in the right direction.
yes.
The added stress of COVID doesn't help, or didn't help at all. But there
the
are so many people
isolation
that
and all that. Yeah.
so many people that went through that worse, than we had to. So I was grateful for that. And the staff at the hospital were really nice. I mean, they were fantastic and very, even when I'm, like I said, I had them go get me another nurse because I needed to tell somebody you got one patient, but you got two. technically you
Yeah.
could have two. At
You
any
could
given
have
moment,
two,
you
yeah.
could have two.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
He goes
yeah,
vertical. This is what you do.
yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
they were super nice. And then, like I said, I guess we spent 2 nights. I really just remember spending one night,
Yeah.
but yeah,
We spent two
definitely
because
having you.
we had to, me and
Yeah, I
you, Dorcas,
remember.
we went because we weren't sure how long she was going to be. So me and you drove from Lufkin back to Hemp
Yeah.
Hill to get mom some clothes and to kind of just get stuff for
That's right. Y'all
daddy.
Daddy's
did.
Madison
Yes,
and
you
all
Daddy's
did.
that.
medicine. Yeah, we went and did that and then came back and we were there for at least I want to say it was one night, but I don't know. It could have been a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was
No,
one of those times where when it looks like mom's going to get released or whatever, when they talk about like, as children having to parent your parents, I remember me and I feel like it was a little bit almost intrusive, but me and Dorcas were like, they're not going home. They're not going home. They're coming home. Like, so we essentially made y'all come home here to the house because we didn't like the idea. And it was so close to Christmas anyways. We kind of just made that executive decision that y'all needed to come to Dorcas's house and we'll all be together or whatever. So we went straight. You didn't go back to the house. We ended up
See,
just,
I don't remember that.
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't think,
remember not coming
am I
back to the
wrong on
house
that,
till
Dorcas?
after
But
Christmas.
Well, I don't remember. I don't
I,
remember, but I mean, I know y'all did come down here, but I just don't
Yes, we
remember how
did.
close it was, but it was close to Christmas, right?
yeah, it was like the
Yeah, it was
weekdays
close to
leading up to
Christmas.
Okay.
Christmas when this happened. So I feel
Yeah.
like, but I feel like it goes back to that thing. Like, I feel like it was one of those times, Dorcas, where we were really pushy about it. We
Yeah.
were really pushy about mom and dad because also too, and I think the argument was if you go back to the piney woods, I think we kind of did that guilt trip thing about like you'll be close to Houston, the best in the
Yeah.
you'll be at the medical center and you won't be at like
Yeah. Maybe you
Bob's
did come
doctor's
this way.
office.
I
We
know
kind
we
of
Yeah, I
just
think
canceled Christmas
yeah,
with
I
everybody
do think
because
we
Yeah.
come to
come
Houston with
straight
y'all.
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I think
kind
we
of
did.
guilt trip.
Yeah.
Kind of guilt tripped you into it. Like if something happens, mama, I mean, you're going to be, would you rather be at, Bob's doctor's office or would you, rather have to take Houston Medical Center with all the Methodists and the whatevers? And I said, but we were very pushy about it, which we've never really been successful in that part of it when it comes to things.
Too
But
much.
I remember being very pushy and very not taking no for an answer on that one, but maybe a little micromanagey, but you did it.
Well, it was scary for
Yeah.
sure, and it was an event that gets you to thinking because
Yeah.
in 2020,
Yeah, it was December of 2020.
yeah, so that was 4 years ago. So I would have been like 68, and I'm thinking, well, that's when Grandma passed away. It was 68. That's when
Yeah.
Daddy passed away at 68, and so that was probably preeminent in my thinking too. That
Yeah.
what the what?
Your mom and dad both died when they were 68?
Grandma Connie died at 68,
Okay.
and my daddy died at 68.
Okay.
And so that's
Yeah,
when,
they were young.
yes, it was young, and it was just so unexpected. Daddy's was just unexpected.
Yeah.
I mean, he had heart problems, but he was doing well. But it was scary. And at the moment, in the time, and right after, following after that, you do make decisions that I'm going to take my medicine. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to keep an eye on my blood pressure. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do all this.
How's that working
And
out for
so-
you, Mama?
I think I've done okay, but no, I was just committed to the cause.
Yeah.
For a while, So,
I think what cracks
they
me
would
up
just
is
say,
the
"Look,
pill
look."
thing. Like asking you about the pill thing. Did you take your pill? Did you take your pill? Did you take your pill? And you kept telling me, no, it makes me feel funny. And I'm thinking, it's because it's bringing your blood pressure down. And you don't know what that feels like to have normal blood
Well, at
pressure.
that time, they had me on 2. Okay, so never taken medication of any kind in my life.
Yeah.
Truly, Tylenol was overdoing it for me. So getting into the habit of taking a medication is still, but I've done better the last few months. Ask your daddy. He'd say, "Have you taken your pill?" I say, "No." He'll go take your pill. And I'll go, "Okay, I'll go take my pill." So it's, and I think I'm very lucky to have just blood pressure medications. Cause
Yeah.
Most people my age have 10 or 12.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but it's enough to, and this is the truth. I thought, we're going to start talking about this stroke again. I'm going to have to get committed. I'm going to realize I'm backslid and I need to get, I got to get committed to the cause again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask
I'm
people
going
to
to have
start
to.
texting you and asking you if you took your pill.
Did you take
Okay,
my
so
pill?
on social media, guys, go find Mom on TikTok and Facebook and just ask her daily if she
Did you
took her
take your
pill.
Oh,
Yes. I'll go in and put
Yeah.
I'll put Mom's handles on the website and the Facebook page. You can go
Hashtag-
in there. Yes.
Hashtag take your pill.
Yes,
Take
Sylvie.
my pill.
So
Yeah.
parenting your parenting your parents.
Yep.
Isn't that the truth?
We out here just trying
Yeah.
to raise our parents.
I mean, seriously, so
Yeah.
stubborn.
Yeah. So, you really have to pay attention. And for y'all at your age, just do better.
Yeah.
Just do
Yeah.
better than, because
I take my
I
pills.
always, now you have to admit, I always felt like I was doing really well with my health. We were always worried about Daddy. And
Yeah.
like I said, my diverticulitis sometimes, acted up, but
Yeah. Don't
as
eat
a
nuts.
whole,
There.
don't eat nuts or lettuce or
Don't eat nuts.
corn,
Yeah.
don't eat 2 corn on the
Seeds.
tops. Okay.
Yeah.
But
So yeah.
It's I think as the child, it's been hard to see you getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Especially to see Daddy especially, but like to see you, because even like the other day when y'all were here, this
Well,
is
it's
just
funny
little
because
things.
I don't see,
but
it wasn't until the stroke that I even thought Mom was getting older.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It never crossed my mind that even though you're 20 years older than me, it never crossed my mind that you're older than me. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
older, not
Yeah.
old, but
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
It never, not until the stroke did I even think you got to remind your mom to take your pill. Never, because you're constantly going and doing and, out and
Yeah.
about.
But
And it
but
wasn't
she's still
until
getting
that
older.
that it,
Yeah. Like
I know, but it just never think about it.
But it's
Now
little
it's all we
things.
think about.
Yeah. Because like when they were here this
Yeah.
last time, we went, Mom, I don't know if you remember this, we went and walked down to the mailbox to go check the mail.
Yeah.
And it's little things like you not being able to, not in a bad way, but like, you're walking so far behind us because you can't walk.
Yeah.
You can't keep up. And I can barely keep up with Jared. He's like 6'4".
Right. Yeah.
And I say I'm 5'6", but I'm a big fat liar. I'm 5'3", so my legs are like really little, and I'm trying to keep up with
They
him.
are
and
short legs, but
Yes.
you're still out. You're still out.
Yeah, just because I just expect you to. And thinking back, even over the last several years, I take for granted the fact that you are not as young as you used to be.
Yeah.
Because like when I think about things like when me and you went to like, remember our Oklahoma antiquing trip, and we went hiking and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
we went to the Devil's Den and all that.
And I just expect you to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
And it's not that you don't, but it's just not as fast as you once were.
No.
And that is jarring for me, like to look behind me and you're
Yeah.
not. And even just walking down to the thing, or if I want to do a marathon antiquing day or a thrifting day,
I thought you were going to say a marathon. I was sitting here going,
never going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I don't got to worry about that.
Me and Mom walked the color
Carry
run
on.
like 15 years ago. We walked the color run.
We did, didn't we?
Carry
we
on.
did.
I
Never
about had
gonna
a
happen.
stroke.
Yeah.
No, never gonna happen. But I
Carry
expect
on.
Mom to be there. But like I said, even just
Mhm.
if a marathon day of antiquing and thrifting and going and going and going, and I have to, I mean, even
Slow
at my
down
age,
a little
I'm like,
bit.
yeah, slow down. It's nap time.
So I got
like,
a gnat flying
yeah.
over my face.
I've got one in here too. It's really annoying. Yes. So that's jarring for me to look at you and you're not, that anywhere. You're
I'm
not
slow.
You're not old.
I'm slowing down.
Yeah. You're just not as spry is such a terrible word to say about older people. Like you're spry.
Because I have plantar fasciitis in my feet, and it's like, what is this? What is this? And, I messed up my meniscus in my knee just by putting my shoes on, so it's just things like that. And if I drop something I'm madder, then, it's frustrating to go to reach for something and your fingers aren't working, so yeah, it's frustrating for us.
Yeah.
And then I used to think, well, I'm 50 years old. I probably have 30 years in me. And I was
Yeah.
like at 73, you're thinking, man, if I
That
lived to
30
be
went
as old
quick,
as my
didn't
mother, yes, that 30 did go quick. So I'm thinking, okay, if I live as long as my mother did, that's 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So you do think about, you better get on the stick and do things that are healthier for you to just live longer, truly.
Yeah.
So, and that's
We'll live
the
longer, but live better
plan.
too.
Yeah,
You don't want
live
to.
better
Yeah.
and longer. So, uh, it really is time for a big change, and it's hard to make those big changes like that. But truly,
Yeah.
I mean, literally, a lifestyle change.
Yeah, it is hard.
And yeah, so I mean, we did the yard today, and I did some weeding, but I hired a guy to come and finish doing all the weed eating and cleaning and all that. So literally,
Right, that yard work sucks. That's one of those things that's one of those things you need to throw money at the problem, because
well, we're learning that, but
yeah.
I just can't tolerate the heat. And
Yeah.
I always thought of myself as a lizard. Put me out there in the heat, and that's just something.
Yeah. No shoes.
I don't do.
Yeah.
No shoes, t-shirts and shorts and go at it, and just find myself going up the hill, way slower than I ever did, but I still
It's a
do
big
it
hill.
because it is. So, but with the weather breaking like it did, and the cool weather this morning, 62, that was heaven. That was heaven for me and Daddy. So we're we just need to take better care of ourselves.
Did you ever get Dad's take on your stroke? Like, how did y'all ever talked about it?
I don't think we've ever talked about that much. Scared him to death. I know that, and I know that he was very hovering a lot. And take your pill, take your pill, take your pill. Okay, don't do that, don't do that. Be careful. So he did hover, and he still does. And all that. So
I mean, he was crying when he. Sorry, Daddy.
Yes, which
when he called,
my
he was
heart when I heard that.
Yeah, most rare. It's because it's rare.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yes,
I think when his mom died, when Yvonne died.
Yeah,
those are the times that you hear. And so here's the thing, like I said, like I knew something was wrong the way that he said my name, and because it's only ever happened, like I said, when there's been a death, that immediately just kind of you feel that and you're like, what the hell? Like what just happened? And it's hard for him, like I said, it's hard to see him getting older with that same kind of stuff. And then, like I said, if we were to get that phone call from you about him, like Dorcas said, it would be tragic and terrible, but it would not have been as jarring as this news about you.
It'll be sad and panicky, but it won't be as jarring. I don't think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's unexpected.
And not that it's expected. We're not sitting here waiting for him to die.
I said it's unexpected. It's unexpected. It's just something unexpected. And
mentally, we were not ever in that space. It just wasn't even on the table.
I said, you're going to live forever.
So,
for a while longer anyway.
You're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
We have a deal.
If I could live to be 90, that would be okay. I don't know if I want to be older than that, because then you're pretty,
I don't know. There's a lot of people that are spry in their,
you're right.
in their 90s.
Yeah, but
they also really are now.
Yeah, but they started preparing for their spryness by making healthy choices in their 20s.
Yes,
those people, we didn't do that.
No, because there's those broads that are like smoking and drinking Dr. Pepper and
Shirley.
Those ladies are fine too.
So we need to drink and smoke. That's how we live till we're 90.
Just saying.
On it.
No.
Challenge accepted.
No, there's two little ladies that's from Fairdale Baptist Church, and they come into the restaurant every Sunday, and one is 84 and one is 94, and they are and we go, well, here comes Lucy and Ethel, and I asked one of them, the 84 one, I said, well, honey, tell me, what's your secret to living to be 84? And the little 94 lady says, well, living right and all that. And the other goes, a cigarette in one hand and a beer in the other. I said, and you just come back from church, sister. And they always come in and hug old daddy. And she said, I hope you don't mind if we hug on your husband. I said, no, go ahead. No problem. So they're sweet and all, but yeah, in fact, we have people. Wayne just turned 90 up here, and Mary Ellen's 94, and we have people who are living long lives. We have people passing away around us, but we still have a lot of people that are living longer lives.
And I think the key is
living,
enjoying what time you have. It definitely makes you more grateful for the times you do have. And, like I said, we're not seeing each other. I mean, now we're seeing each other weekly here, but we're not seeing each other every day. But it is like when we do get those chances to be together, try to enjoy that time. And
absolutely
appreciate that. I think I said that to you and Dad when y'all were here one time. Is like, you only have so many years left, and if you only take one trip a year, that's 10 more trips. If you live 10 more years, that's 10 trips. So you better start doing these things, and we need to start doing these things at a family, even if it's once a year. You know what I mean? Like just the one thing a year, just trying to have those
absolutely
times, just because it does you do start feeling
feel like you're running out of time.
You feel like there's a clock ticking.
Yes.
And everybody has their.
I'm 50 this year, and if I live to 80, that's 30 years. But like you said, that goes like that, And even getting here to 50 has been like that,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a flash. It just is, going faster and faster.
Yeah,
it
we're
feels
getting
like
older. Yeah,
so,
I told my girlfriends the other day in like our group chat. I was looking at the calendar. It's 2024. In 3 years is our 30-year high school reunion, and we just graduated. Like we just
feels
graduated,
like it, don't you?
And it's just like, oh God, we're old. Like we're old. It just like I look at my pill box. Like I've got a pill box because I'm old, and I take like 10 pills a day. And I've got the morning and the afternoon one. And so I don't choke on the pills because they're really big. It's humbling. It's humbling, Yeah.
Dad takes about 13 every morning. And
oh God, I'm fighting for Daddy with the number of pills we take a day.
Yeah.
God help me.
Yeah.
Some of mine are vitamins, so it's fine.
I don't have a pill box. I take one.
You should get one. I have a really pretty black one.
No.
Yeah. It has a little container with a zipper.
Yeah. No.
She needs to actually take the pill. She doesn't need to put it in a pretty thing with a zipper where she can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So seriously, I'm going to get a social media movement where we get everyone to send you daily reminders on Facebook and TikTok. Take your pill.
Yeah, and then I have to pick up the phone and get on Facebook and TikTok, don't I? I got to check social media.
And I remember, I was thinking about this when we were sitting here talking about, I remember like whenever Dorcas mentioned, like we kind of did like a phone tree. I think like one of us started calling like your sisters and stuff. And that's whenever we still had Pam and Claudia were still, with us or whatever. Yeah. And I remember having to tell Aunt Claudia, I was like, don't put this on Facebook, because she would have put everybody's business on Facebook. And I was like, don't put Mama Stroke on Facebook. Until we know something. Don't put anything on Facebook. We don't want, whatever.
She died or anything
don't
like
do
that.
any of that. Yes, just we're telling the family, but don't put it like I don't know who I took, or maybe I put it in the family Facebook, the private Facebook group. I was like, please don't post anything online. Just we'll let you know.
And somehow it did get to somebody and went on the church Facebook page. Somebody, I can't remember how it got to somebody, but it went on Wood Forest.
Oh, the old Wood Forest one?
The old Wood Forest Facebook page.
Yes, you're right.
So I don't remember how it got there, but maybe Aunt Patsy.
I mean, Patsy, and I didn't mind at all. I don't care. Some people don't put my business out there. And as far as when it comes to a prayer request, I just think the more the merrier, I guess. I don't know, the more, prayers that people put out there are strong, so I didn't mind that at all. There's some things I don't want on Facebook or and all, but I'll put it out there to pray for.
What do you feel like, Mama, like from this, experience or whatever, you talked about, take your pill, but I don't know. How do you feel about like what happened and stuff, or what did you feel like you've learned from
Well, I feel
Strokegate 2020?
grateful. Yeah, I feel grateful that it wasn't worse than it was, for
Yeah,
sure.
because there's a lot of people
And
who don't recover from that.
true, and so I feel like maybe my lifestyle has been beneficial, because I've never been a smoker or a drinker, or this. I drink sweet tea. I drink a little caffeine, a little sugar. Uh, I like bacon. You know, so there's just that stuff that I can change.
Yeah, but I don't think God
But
wants
I
you to give up bacon.
feel well. I think it's always in
It's not like
moderation.
you're deep
You
frying it and
know,
put it in chocolate. It's just bacon.
I know, and it's just,
Delicious.
but there is more. There's more things I can do to be healthier, for sure. You know, so I do feel like probably I should pay more attention. You know, drink more water, probably take some vitamins or something like that, I suppose. Uh,
You're like, I'll think about it.
so yeah, I'm thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just thinking about it. Um, so yeah, I've learned well, and to really be kinder to people, to be more compassionate with and patient with dad, or with
Oh, I was like, why were you
other
mean when
people.
you were having your stroke? Like, what makes you say that?
No, no, no.
Were you mean
I'm
to?
just thinking, because you feel like you're running out of time. If you're going to do it,
Yeah.
get on it.
Yeah.
Andy Dufresne and or Frame, or
Get
Yeah.
what's his
busy.
name? Andy Dufresne in
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah.
And that's just come to mind a lot. In fact, I've got it written down to read it on my calendar every day. Get busy living or get busy dying. Uh,
I
and to
mean,
just get
if we
busy
can't learn things from
living.
convicted convicts, who can we learn
That's
things
right.
from?
From
I mean,
Shawshank.
granted, Andy was falsely accused, but I mean,
Yes,
Red had some good things to say.
he did. I'm not going to drive. I'm not going to climb through a sewage tank pipe to get there. But you know,
But at the end of the day, don't we want to go live on a beach with Andy and Red?
yes, actually, I will
Yes, we
sand
do.
his boat.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to sand on his boat and get out there.
And to Watanabe.
That's right. I would do that. I would do that.
Heck yeah.
So, um, but yeah, to just pay attention, you know, and try to get down to see y'all more. I
Yeah.
think.
Yes. Come
I
live.
miss
We got extra
I
rooms.
miss Easter egg hunts with the girls. I miss baseball games with Cody. I miss
Yeah.
I miss seeing Jakey and Danny and Sebastian. I miss uh the birthday celebrations with your girls too. But we'll get there. And Daddy and I spoke quite often about retiring again and spending more time doing those things. So we'll be there. We'll get
Yeah.
there.
Dorcas, what about you? What did you
Well,
learn from this whole thing?
well, I think just same thing, just paying attention to making sure that I pay attention to how I feel, and in tune to, just keep an eye on them and making sure they feel okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just paying attention, I think more, asking the questions. I think that's something we have to do is just, tell me about Dad's doctor visit. Tell me about your doctor visit. What did your doctor? I mean, you're gonna lie, but at least I'm saying,
Lying.
y'all be lying.
And it is, and if it happens, it's just because I don't want to worry y'all. You
I
just
know.
so, and you know how that feels. You don't want to worry your kids and all that, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be dishonest about it. I think I don't.
Yeah.
I think that we need to be very honest and forthcoming.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'd rather
hide
know and
things.
worry than be shocked and
Yeah, I think
whatever.
you're right
So
about that.
for me, I would rather know, and because I'm gonna worry anyway. So that's a given. So
Yeah,
at least now I'm not making up my own worry. Is
because what you don't know,
but
you make up.
yeah, and I can
You're
do a darn fine job of that.
me
So
too. Me
I
too.
would much rather know something's going on, and that way we can just stay in tune so that way it's just not shock.
Yes.
shock and panic. Those emotions I like less than worry. I prefer worry, shock, and panic in that order.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, I feel like I'm either going to be, you can either have me worried or you can have me mad. When you, what's your choice? Because I'm going to, like Dorcas said, I'm going to be worried anyways, but like if when you don't tell us things, then I get mad. Like I get mad that we don't know about it or that I hear about it,
Yeah.
like, from whatever. So you choose. You can either have me worried or mad. Which one do you want?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Your choice.
So,
Yeah, well, I'm not scared of you either way.
No. I'm very intimidating.
I was like,
not,
listen to her talk, Mom. Aren't you shaking in your
not
boots?
really.
Y'all haven't seen me. Y'all know.
Oh,
You're right,
we
because we look
know.
right over you.
Wow. Wow. Me and Mom are right here. I actually think Mom's
That's
shrunk.
where y'all are.
Me and Mom are right here.
It's because we're the same height.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are 5'6". So now Dorcas is
Yeah, Dorcas
I am.
is. Yeah.
Solid 5'6". That's how I know y'all are lying.
I like to say I'm 5'6" a lot.
So
Jared
we
just looks at
always-
me. He's like, "You lying?" It's like, you don't know me.
So I think
Yeah.
the thing is just, just the lessons of just, okay, not that we gotta pay attention to our parents, but it does bring it to the forefront of your brain of, okay, we gotta take care of our parents. Not take care of, because y'all are really independent and don't need us to take care of you, but we need to be aware. We need to keep our eyes open and be aware, of what's just going on in our life, in our kids' life, in y'all's life. Just keep it on the radar. The radar just got
Yeah.
bigger, is all,
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of the lesson, just to stay in tune with you guys too. Because like before that, I never thought about it. I always thought about Dad, but no,
And
thought
I
about
think
your
being
health.
patient. I think
Yeah.
being patient, because I remember when Mother was still here and she would come visit and she said, "Well, I'll go to the store with you." And at that time, I thought, "No, Mom, that's okay. I'm going to run in real fast and come
Yeah.
out." And I thought, "Yeah, dummy. Yeah, dummy."
Yeah.
That was just an
Yeah.
opportunity to be with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Not in our rushing around world to hurry up and get something done, and don't let her come and very slowly walk through the store with me.
Yeah.
And so knowing that those days are going to come.
Yeah.
And even with Grandma Connie, she would call all the time. And I think, okay, let me talk to her for a minute, but then I got to get busy with my stuff.
Yeah.
And regretted not taking the time, spending time with her.
Yeah.
Spending time with Isidore. I just feel sad because of all the people that we didn't get to spend quality time with was,
Yeah.
Grandpa. And of course, my dad, when he passed away, I wept over all the Father's Days and his birthdays that I didn't send cards or call
Yeah.
him, you think about that. So, tomorrow's Daddy's birthday,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah.
So, and all he wants is a steak at Texas Roadhouse. So,
Oh, okay.
he'll be happy.
Is that what y'all are going to go do?
I think so. Sometime after.
Where do you have to go to
Probably
Texas
have to-
Roadhouse? Over to Lufkin?
Well, that's his favorite steakhouse. in
That's what I'm
Lufkin.
asking. But that you have to go to Lufkin
it's in
to go to
Lufkin.
Texas
Yeah.
Roadhouse. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, just be careful driving over there. It's
oh, we will, baby. We will. And it may not happen tomorrow, but it'll happen this week, I'm sure.
Well, we'll keep up
So
with you
just
on
to
Life
celebrate.
360. So
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
will you?
stalk you on Live 360.
And I don't mind that at all. I
Yeah.
don't mind that at all.
what's funny is I got a text at 2:30 this morning that Cody said, "What are you doing?" at 2:30, and I was like, I didn't get it till I got in the car this morning at 5:30, and I saw it, and I was like, I said, "Baby, I was sleeping at 2:30. What are you doing up texting me at 2:30?" And so he wasn't up then, but when he got up, he texted and said, my phone kept buzzing last night on Life 360 telling me that you were like coming home, like Dorcas is home. He said it kept buzzing over and over and over. And he
Yeah.
sent me the screenshot of the map that, it shows your route or whatever. And it literally shows my phone walking all over the neighborhood. Of the street behind us.
Pinging
It shows all these
everywhere.
different points, and it was just pinging everywhere. And so he goes, what were you doing at 2:30? I was like, I was asleep. Dad.
Uh-huh.
He goes,
Yeah.
he goes, I just laid in bed thinking, what is she doing?
Now that's
So I said, well,
scary.
I don't
Okay.
know. Yeah,
That's
I
a
told him,
little
I said, my
creepy.
phone was
That's just
right here with
creepy.
me. My phone was
Hmm.
right here with me. It didn't go anywhere. But yeah, it somehow was, it
Yeah.
didn't like,
Sometimes 360 is off, you know, off
well, it lets you, at
balance or
least, I
something.
still, listen, it's still good though.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
still a
Yeah.
fan. So
Yeah.
we will track
Absolutely.
y'all when you go to Lufkin
Yes.
Yeah.
on
Track
Life
them when they go
360.
everywhere. Especially like the first
Yeah.
thing I do is like if I call mom and mom's one job is to be my mom. So when she doesn't answer the phone, then the first try
Oh, is
I
that
get
what you
very
do?
yes, I go to see where is she because if you're at the church, you don't always have service. I'm like, okay, I can see she's at the church, but if you at home and you're not answering my phone calls, I get very upset.
Well,
And like
baby,
I'm just
sometimes I'm
saying,
out in the yard.
I
Sometimes I'm in the
know,
greenhouse,
I know.
and I
And
just
then I
don't
just
carry
start
my
sending
phone with
texts.
me
I'm like,
everywhere.
woman, like I called her like three
Yeah,
times
that's.
this week and
I
FaceTimed her
said, why
twice
aren't
and
you?
she didn't. It's like, why aren't you calling me back? Are you mad at me? What did happen? What did I do, mama? And she's like, I did call you back. I'm like, I didn't get an answer, mother.
I did put
That's
an
okay. I've
answer.
been
I did
stalking
call
you.
and put a message. Yeah,
I
and
didn't
that's
get it.
fine with me. That's fine with me because I stalk y'all too. And then in the middle of the night when 360 says Dorcas's phone is 10%, tell Dorcas to charge her phone. I'm thinking
Yep.
I should just call her and tell her
Plug your
charge
phone
your
in.
dang phone because it's waking me up. You know,
Well,
so
apparently I was out running last night. So,
I guess you were
Good Lord.
all over the
so
neighborhood,
Cody, I said, dude,
all
I
over the
don't jog
neighborhood.
during the day. What makes you think I'm jogging in the middle of the night all over
Mm-hmm.
the neighborhood?
Oh
So,
my gosh.
No, thank you.
okay. Well, Mom, I'm
Yeah.
glad that you've had no long-term effects from the stroke. You don't
Mhm.
bark or drool or nothing. You're fine.
No.
Glad that we haven't had any and that we can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, we can. Yeah.
so yeah,
Trying
To
to
thank you
revisit it
for
makes me get committed to the cause again. Okay,
yeah,
girls.
yeah,
Truly.
yeah. And it does just make you think about, mortality and
Yeah.
how short life is and how fragile it is. And we just don't want anything to happen to you. So you just go ahead and live forever. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and
Take your pill.
I have the incentive because it certainly gave me a better picture into how hard it was for y'all.
Yeah.
I'm laughing through it, stumbling into the truck, getting there, and it turns out okay, and I'm fine, but I haven't paid much attention to how it emotionally, you know, is disturbing to those around you. Scary.
Yeah. And that's why
We
we
can
lie to
laugh
our kids. I
now,
know.
but it's
I
for
know. That's
all
why
of
we
our
lie.
kids. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
For all our
That's
kids.
why I lie to my kids.
Yeah. But quit lying to your mama. Don't lie to your mama.
I
You
know. I
hear?
told you everything.
Well, Dorcas, that brings up like whenever yesterday, I guess Saturday, we were over at Cody and Kaylin's,
Mhm.
and we were talking about like I don't remember what brought up the conversation, but that thing between parents and their children about Cody made a comment about he needs to call you and Daddy more.
Mhm.
He goes, but they don't call me either,
Yeah.
and so it's that kind of that thing between. And I think what we ended up started talking about is that well, as the parents we don't want to feel like me, but like Dory said, it's parents, we don't feel like we're bothering you. And we
No,
love
what I
it.
said was that they have moved out and started their life. They started something new, that their life is new, in their life. Our life has always been about them. So it's not when I don't call him regularly, it's because I don't want to bother him. So if he needs something, call me, and I'll call you. Like we text a lot. I text regularly with the kids, but I just don't call. But I just was saying, yeah, it really should be the kids. To me, it should be the kids' responsibility to call with the understanding that, or if your parents aren't calling it, probably because they just don't want to bother you. Like you don't want to be a burden.
Yeah. I think that
You
is the
don't want
truth right
to.
there. Yeah.
I don't want to call you because listen, my instinct is to call 50 times a day. I will call all three kids on my way to work. I'll call you on the way home. I'll call you before I go to bed. Like I want to do that. But I have to fight that because I want you to go have your life and I don't want to be that person. But the flip side of that is with the understanding of that. Like I know I can call mom. Like now, I can call her anytime. She doesn't
I
care.
have no problem
Yeah,
calling
you
mom
can.
50 times a day. It doesn't phase
Yeah.
me
Yes.
one bit. I'm calling my mama.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good for that. Now sometimes I'm not available and it takes me a while to
Which
find out
we can
who
talk
did
about
call
that
me.
later.
But I
Yeah.
do want you to call. And there's a lot of times
Yeah.
I think, oh, I'm going to call Dorcas, but I'm thinking, oh, she just got home from work. She's going to be tired. She's not going to want to talk. She
Yeah.
just wants to sit there, So there's
Yeah.
plenty of times that I do want to call and
Yeah.
call. I know I can get you, Lydia, during the day because you're sitting at your desk. I know Dorcas is busy, and
I'm busy in my job. I do stuff, don't we? People are going,
It's just that you work from home.
yeah, you
You
work
don't
from
share an
home.
office with your thief.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do stuff.
I
You hear
know.
that, people at work? I do stuff.
We want to know all about Patricia, and it's not a good environment to talk
Listen.
about,
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would really like to
Yeah. But I think that's
call
just the
a lot
understanding,
more
the
than I
thing with the
do.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it's just respecting that they
yeah,
have a life and, that they're going through stuff and they're learning to work and they're doing all the things. And the thing is that I say I would call. I don't want to be on the phone all day long. I have a
yeah,
friend who's one of her kids called like 6 times a day. And she was just telling me it's exhausting. Like she wants to talk about, her daughter wants to talk about, what she ate, what she's doing, and it's just exhausting. And I
yeah.
don't want that. I'm fine with talking to my kids, a
Right.
couple times a week or whatever. I don't have to have that everyday thing, but it is just respecting them going out and getting a new life, because like I said, I could easily fall in the thing of it. Y'all were my life and this is what
Yes.
I'm doing, all day long. But the truth is, it's like, you don't want to talk to me all day long, and I don't know, Mom, I don't think we don't talk every day, but I don't know that I
You don't
talk
talk
to
every
anybody.
day, probably.
Dwayne's really literally the only person I talk to every day. And that's because he's
Yeah.
here. If we didn't live together, we'd probably text some. Because like when he was gone to the ranch this weekend, we don't talk every day, all day long. It's maybe once in the evening, and then sometimes it's a text that says good night.
Okay, I'm alive.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we're glad you're here. Glad you're still kicking.
I
Glad you're
am too,
spry.
baby. I am.
Glad
Yeah.
you're taking your pills. So,
Yep.
When you
And I'm
take
on my
them.
yard today. So,
and you mowed your yard today. See?
well,
Better than me.
kind
I
of
hired somebody.
just around the greenhouse, okay?
Yeah.
And then I hired that other little guy to take care of all the rest of the weed eating.
Yeah. As
in
you
the
should.
ditches and in the yard, and as I should. Yeah.
As you should.
Because he needs
Yeah.
some money. So,
Okay.
But yeah, I'm getting committed to the cause again, girls.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. We'll help you do that.
Okay. And I will
Okay.
pay attention. Y'all pay attention.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of The Mother You Know, The Woman You Don't. Be sure to like, follow, whatever on social media. Go to wherever you listen to your podcast and give us a rating. We'd really appreciate it. You can check us out at themotheryouknow.com or anywhere you get podcasts. And we will see you next week for another episode. Bye.
Bye.